Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to College of the Canyons. I'm glad you guys are here today. The most fun thing about these is when we all get together and the memories that occur on this field. And it's so much fun to see you guys. That was a great luncheon we just had. My name is Chad Peters. I'm the Dean of Kinesiology and Athletics. I'm going to get this thing started. The first thing I want to do is recognize some VIPs and some people who this could not happen without them. The first thing, or first person, Chuck Klein. Where's Chuck Klein? Where did he go? Raise your hand, Chuck. There he is. Chuck Klein, Board of Trustees here at College of the Canyons. Played baseball, played football, coached here, dean, athletic director, faculty, you name it, he did it here at College of the Canyons. So thank you, Chuck, for being here and all your support of us. Really appreciate it. Second person I want to recognize, Jesse Munoz. Jesse, raise your hand, buddy. Jesse is the MVP of this event. Jesse helped design the sign, the plaque, the itinerary, everything about this place, Jesse had a hand in. So again, this absolutely would not happen without Jesse Munoz. The second person, Mike Halkovich. Where are you at, Halko? Halko is the one that gets things done. Just in case you didn't know, Halko is retiring this June. So the amount of knowledge that guy has, he's an encyclopedia of knowledge as far as Santa Clarita athletics goes. So again, Mike Halkovich. I also want to shout out for Jasmine Hall and Lauren Anderson. They were a big help with this. Matt Robinson, our PA and live stream guy. In case you ever watched the live stream, that would be Matt Robinson. Hall Family Catering did this luncheon for us. That was outstanding. Creative Graphic Services took care of the sign. They do a lot of great things for us. The other thing I want to mention, a lot of you have donated to the Cougar Club Foundation fundraising account for College of Canyons Athletics. The Cougar Club paid for everything that went with today. Okay, so all fundraising money that many of you donated when those of you guys who Chuck and Lynn hit up for years with the big win in Cougar Club, that covered the lunch, that covered, again, the installation of the sign, everything, the plaque, everything here that Cougar Club covered, so which is an amazing thing. I also want to give a shout out to Bakersfield College. Thank you guys for allowing us to change the game time and be part of this ceremony and celebration. We really appreciate you guys being here today, so thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause for Bakersfield College? All right, next thing I'm going to bring up, we've only had 3 baseball coaches here at College of the Canyons. Mike Gillespie, Lenny Moone, and Chris Cota. Now I'd like you to help me welcome Lenny Moone and Chris Cota to the podium. Come up, guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. First wanted to say thanks for everybody being here and on this special day. You know, this day is probably long overdue, and finally it's here, and we're going to have fun with this. I'd also like to thank the people that were very instrumental in this. You know, Chad left himself out, our athletic director. He was a big part of it. Jesse Munoz, our sports information director, Mike Halkovich, Lauren Anderson, Jasmine Hall. And I, too, would also like to thank Kurt Townsend, the head coach of Bakersfield, and his coaches and his team for understanding this special day for us and changing the schedule. You know, it's great to see people here that played for Mike, whether it was here or USC or UC Irvine, and I know a lot of his friends have traveled a long ways to be here for him. You know, Mike started the program back in '71, led the Cougars, you know, 16 years and 11 conference championships, 3 straight titles. His last 6 years here, he won three state championships and was runner-up in the state twice. I don't think that's ever been done in a 6-year span. Then he moved on to, obviously, USC, won a national championship there. At SC, I know he won 62% of his games, 72% of his games here. and I believe 61% of his games at UC Irvine, where he was at for 11 years. Mike just won. He was a winner. I had the honor to play for Mike in '85 and '6, and I have to say, during that time is where I really learned to play baseball. It was a huge influence on my life, not only as a person, a coach, but he was a great friend. I know for me and most everyone who played for Mike, there was a proudness. You know, people ask me why I played college baseball, and I say I played at College of the Canyons for Mike Gillespie. And I know most of the people answered that way because they felt the same way. They played for Mike Gillespie. There was just a lot of respect for Mike. Although, you know, he goes to USC for 20 years and then Irvine for 11, Mike loved College of the Canyons. You know, all throughout the years, he'd call and say, hey, how the Cougs doing? If we were winning, he'd say, great job, keep it rolling. If we were losing, say, keep your head up, keep after it, you'll come around. You know, he's received numerous accolades throughout his coaching career, Hall of Fame, Coach of the Year awards, National Coach of the Year awards, but I think that this would be at the top of his list, renaming this field after him. You know, it's going to be great to come out every day now to see that sign above the scoreboard and really understand who put this school, College of the Canyons, on the baseball map at community college level. So once again, thanks for everybody coming out here. I wanted to congratulate the Mike Gillespie family for this, and thanks again.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lenny Moone, retired Dean of Athletics and Kinesiology, but more important, a longtime assistant with Coach Gillespie. I was Mike's assistant for 10 years, and it was a pretty special time for me. I know it's really not always appropriate just to read off a sheet of paper. That's not really my style. I'm more of a storyteller, but I think that we won't do that today. I'm going to thank that committee again, Chad Peters and Mike Halkovich, Jesse Munoz, and Lauren Anderson. But once again, I think Coach Cota was right. He said a lot of things that I wanted to say. It's a long time coming. I get a chance to talk to Mike every day. Every day I talk to Mike when I'm on this yard. And for some of you that don't know, I'm pretty much on this field every day of the week, running my lab. And it's pretty special. So I'm going to read this. I'll elaborate a little, but I'll make it pretty quick. I once heard a person dies twice. Once when they pass, and once when they stop talking about it. Well, let me tell you something. Mike Gillespie's stories will live on forever. His friends, coaches, and players, and there have been so many over the years, will tell their stories to others, who will then pass those stories along. For those people who are baseball lovers, players, coaches, and friends know how stories go, and we will smile and laugh as Mike's stories are told. College of the Canyons baseball started the long history of success with College of the Canyons athletics. This field is full of history and tradition, and it started with Coach Gillespie at the helm. Here are just a few examples. The coaches he mentored over the years, me included, Coach Cota included, numerous high school coaches, numerous four-year college coaches. We also, who's here, a World Series third base coach, Steve Smith, who played for us in '74, played for Mike. Mike would do anything for anybody, anytime. That's really a big part of his legacy. The people he gave second chances to, and we have a couple here. I'm not too far off. This level is pretty special. It's pretty special. Sometimes we don't find our way right away out of high school. This level is pretty special. And there's quite a few guys here in the crowd that said, hey, all of a sudden, education's not that tough. And you know what? Playing for Mike Gillespie was so much fun. His winning and competitiveness was contagious. I don't know what our home record is here. But when I took over for Mike, and obviously I didn't keep the bar as high as he did, but my first 2.5 years, I was 44-0. So I can't imagine what our home record was in that heyday, 81 through 86. There was rumors that we occasionally occasionally had a biker group up on the hill. Those are total rumors. They might have been a little intimidating, and I really don't know whose friends they were. The Harbor Rats are still trying to figure that out. His loyalty had no boundaries. So many of us know about his loyalty. If you were a Mike Gillespie friend, you were a friend forever. Except for maybe if you crossed the line and became an umpire, there were some questionable moments. But what he did for me and so many other people it's off the chart. Makes me want to cry, there's no doubt. Mike's memories have created so many stories that will keep him with us for years to come. For me, Mike was my coach, my boss, my mentor, but most importantly, Mike was my friend. I truly miss our weekly talks, and I think of him every time I walk on this field. The person following me, I have the pleasure to introduce a total star, probably Mike's best friend over the years. Coached in the professional league or in the big leagues for years. Rowing field instructor for a couple minor league teams, I believe. The famous Gamboa Gillespie baseball camp during the holidays over at the Hart District. Boy, those stories. But it's my pleasure to introduce the next talker, Tom Gamboa.
Hey, thanks, Lenny. And gosh, I'm going to get through this. My family moved here. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley and moved here with my family in October of '76. I was a young baseball scout at that time. And the first place I went to was here to watch a practice, a fall league practice. I didn't know anything about the program, the coach. I'd come down from Walnut Creek. I sat behind home plate here with a couple of girlfriends and watched the full practice and was so impressed with the structure and the intensity of a fall workout that I knew I had to meet the guy afterwards. So I waited till all the players were gone. I came down and introduced myself, and that started a 44-year friendship. And what I referred to, Mike was like the brother that I never had, the older brother. And there's hardly a day went by that we ever didn't talk on the phone. I've read where philosophers talk about a person's life in terms of, number one, did he have passion? And number two, did he affect people's lives? And obviously, I was one of these things for Mike right after his passing at the cannery. And here today, and another one at USC, the number of people that have been out at these three events have obviously showed, number one, that Mike's life was all about passion. For his family, him and his wife at the time, Susie, raised three great kids, Kelly, Mitch, and Matt. It was all about, later in life when he married Barbara, Mike would probably still be coaching at UC Irvine today, but for the fact that Barbara's health with the dementia, it got to a point that in spite of a lot of us telling him that he needed help, hired help, Mike took the vows to the extent that he was going to take care of it, hook, line, and sinker all the way through. And that's what prompted his early, even though he was 79, I believe at the time, it prompted his early retirement because baseball was his whole life. So he proved what family meant to him. And his friends, it's already been spoken by a former player, Chris Cota, by Moons, who coached with him. Everybody that's here that knew him, his whole life was about his friends, and there's nothing he wouldn't do for you. And then thirdly was his passion for baseball. And I tried for 44 years to get him into golf or fishing or tennis. Mike didn't want to have any hobbies. He'd watch a Little League game at the World Series in Pennsylvania as opposed to doing something outside hobby-wise. He was just a very passionate and a very devoted and loyal guy. And it's ironic that walking in today, I hope everybody got the baseball card because that picture of his smile, I never met anybody in my whole life that had a laugh like Mike's. And being a joke teller, when I heard a joke, especially one that had a twist ending at the end, I couldn't wait, of all my friends, to tell it to Mike because of that laugh that was going to come at the end. And I'm sure he's looking down on us today, and his favorite joke of all time that he used at the National Convention, he did it in Dallas when he got inducted in the College Coaches Hall of Fame, and he couldn't wait to call me up when he was at Irvine, and they had a staff function of which the president of UC Irvine was a woman, and he had the courage to tell this joke and the laughs that he got. So in his honor, and I've never given a talk without telling a joke. So for all the women that are here and the girls, you have to give me a little indulgence because like a magician, what you hear isn't necessarily what is. But this was Mike's favorite of all time, and he ended up taking credit for it, even though I'm the one that told it to him. But ironically, both of us being third base coaches, many years ago I was the third base coach for the Cubs, and I assume everybody here is a baseball fan. The third base coach is the guy that flashes signs so that the batter and the runners. So I heard a story many years ago about a woman that got on a bus and she didn't say anything to the driver, she simply did this. And the driver shook his head no, and he answered her with this. The woman gave the driver a strange look and she did this. And for the second time, the driver shook his head no, and he answered her with this. And the woman gave the driver a very dirty look, and she stood up and she cupped her breasts. And for the third time, the driver shook his head no, and he stood up from the driver's seat, and very firmly he grabbed his crotch. And at that point, the woman turned her back, lifted one leg, grabbed her ass, and got off the bus. And at that point, a woman on the back of the bus came up front and said to the driver, I think you were very rude and nasty to that woman. I'm going to report you to the bus company, get you suspended or fired. The driver said, ma'am, I've been driving this same bus route for 27 years. I'm almost ready to get my pension. I've never been rude or nasty to anybody. What you're missing is that woman's a deaf mute. She was asking me questions in sign language. The woman stood there very disbelievingly and she said, I saw those obscene gestures you made to that woman. And the driver said, ma'am, that woman got on my bus and she said, sir, are you going downtown? And I said, no, ma'am, this bus goes uptown. And that's when she stood there and said, well, are you making any stops along the way? I said, no, ma'am, this is an express bus. It goes straight through. And that's when she stood there and said, well, is there any chance you're going by the dairy? And I stood up and said, no, ma'am, but we are going by the ballpark. And that's when she turned her back on me and she said, oh, shit, I'm on the wrong bus. So, in honor of a legend, that was Mike's favorite joke of all time. But I just have to tell you that to the very end, and thanks to the grace of God and Mitch, I was able to see Mike a week before his passing. He was still talking baseball and plays and things that he saw on TV to the very end, devoted to his lovely wife Barbara to the very end. And God knows, we all know he left us way, way too soon, but the legacy that he left, and when you talk about affecting people's lives, the hundreds of players that were touched by him in his 16 years at Canyons, and the hundreds of players that were touched by him at USC, and the 11 subsequent years at Irvine, and his 1 year with the New York Yankee organization, Mike affected thousands of lives in a very, very positive way. I think about him every day, and God knows that I had a granddaughter graduated from Alabama, and she was at my house at Christmas and had a tough time writing a paper. And I said, Kenzie, I said, if you write it from the heart or you give a speech from the heart, you can never make a mistake. And God knows that talking to you today, I'm speaking from my heart because I don't have any brothers or sisters, but I did have a true brother in Mike Gillespie to the very end. And I know I speak for everybody here. We all loved him, and he'll be a part of our life as long as we're here. Thanks for having me today. And I think our next speaker is Mitch Gillespie. Come on, Mitch. Mitch is looking more and more like Mike every day. But as I told Mitch when I got here speaking for his dad, he'd be okay with the mustache, but Mitch would need a shave.
Hey, thank you very much for being here today. It was Lee Smelter that had my dad apply for the job here at COC. They were. Okay. It was Lee Smelter that had my dad apply for the COC job. They were both rival high school coaches. Lee was at Morningside, my dad was at Rolling Hills, and at the same time, Lee was at Morningside with UCLA basketball coach to be Jim Herrick. Multiple players have played for my dad that they could become Division I head coaches. Frank Sanchez, Bob Bronson, Mark Slenak, and Chris Cota, Lenny Moone. When he was at Hawthorne High School, when he grew up in Hawthorne, him and his brother Gary, they climbed up the water tower, and my dad was too scared to come down the water tower. So they had to have the cops bring down my dad. My dad had over 2,000 players from the high school level to COC to USC to Irvine. He knew every player by name. He knew every account of what happened, a pitcher count. He was all CIF in baseball, basketball, and baseball. He was recruited to play USC football. The USC quarterback coach was the future Raiders owner, Al Davis. He turned down USC to play USC baseball. He was one of two players to coach and play on the national championship team. So the other was Jerry Tyndall. At COC in 1986, it was becoming much more evident he was going to become the next USC coach. He treasured his time here at COC. His wonderful friends were, he had the steak and lower brow with Lenny Moone, Rob Klein, Willie Peters, Chuck Lyon, John Osborne. And his Rolling Hills group, they would meet at his games every Sunday for 30 years. Playing for him was tough. If you didn't get the signs correct, he would make sure you say, make sure you bring your running shoes, and you'd be running the cross-country course the next day. His signs were all family names. Myself, Mitch, Matt, Kelly, Tiffany. I was first and third. He would always be sitting at the end of the dugout with his legs crossed. If his leg was over, the sign was on. His signs were, like I said, Mitch, Matt, Tiffany, Black, Cougar. Chuck Lyon ejected my dad many times. I'm not sure if he had more ejections or more broken clipboards. Our last practice before the state tournament, we had a bad practice. It only lasted 20 minutes. We were doing bunch drills. He called the practice off, had us all go down the left field line, have our yelling. All he said to us is, go watch F and Tom and F and Jerry. We're at the state tournament now, and then when we're doing our team picture, one of our good friends says, Jerry Weinstein. Jerry Weinstein is our team picture with us. I go, what the hell? The next day, Dad tells me we're going to have our meeting with the USC president, the athletic director, and Rod Dado. And he goes, make sure you shave. I went, I can't shave. I got the hockey beard. We've got the playoff beard. You know it's bad luck to shave. I'm not going to shave. Listen to me. You're going to beat the president. Shave. I shave. We have the game next day. We have a bad game against Rancho San Diego. We're making a comeback. Vic hits a shot down the right field line. He gets thrown out by 20 feet. Dad's chewing me out. What the hell? Why are you throwing him? And then we go to dinner that night, and he goes, hey, that's okay. He's hired by USC. They didn't make it to the World Series. They lost, and then he's yelling that he pitched to Mark Conce. But to make it back to the World Series in '98, he makes this ultimate play by having Morgan Insberg still home with 2 strikes. He was fired, got hired by UC Irvine. He's in many Hall of Fame, but his most claim to fame, he starred with Brad Pitt in Moneyball, one scene. And he's always said that great players, great teams make his coaching easier. I'd always want to say that I want to get these players in the Hall of Fame: Jeff Weatherby, Bobby Alfaro, Pat Estrada, Steve French, Sean Barton, Jason Felice. I like to remember the players we've lost. Robert Corrales, Steve Zangri, Scott Drury, Flavio Ferreira, George Sanyo, and my dad. Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
All right, thank you, Mitch. So we can go ahead and unveil the plaque here, and this plaque is going to go up in the dugout eventually. And then you guys are allowed to come on the field. You want to take pictures. We're actually going to bring the baseball field up as well. So we're going to take pictures. You guys want to start getting loose again? You're welcome to start getting loose. We'll get it going, but we'll get some pictures. If you want to take pictures up here, come on in.
looking, I'm like, I'm not gonna walk through all these people on my own. My dog. Walk the dog every day, I play tennis with him 3 times a week. First night we discovered I eat the most areas in Seattle.
Hi, everybody, and welcome into Cougar Field. Mike Gillespie Field, actually. Let me get that correct. For the first time today, we say welcome in as we bring you our first ever college baseball game from the newly minted Mike Gillespie Field as College of the Canyons takes on Bakersfield College Day. It's going to take me some time to get that one out of my brain there as we get ready to go here on a lovely Saturday. If you're just joining us, you missed a nice little ceremony honoring Skip Mike Gillespie, having his field officially minted on the scoreboard out there in left field for the first time and will forever be known as Mike Gillespie Field. The legendary COC head coach getting his honors here today from College of the Canyons. I'm Matt Robinson, glad to have you along with us as always. We'll give you the starting lineups and we'll get ready to go here for a Western State Conference baseball game, a very important one at that. Early on in the season is College of the Canyons and Bakersfield, a couple of longtime rivals going at it. For Bakersfield, the starting lineup will be this. Luis Fuentes will lead things off and play center field, followed by the third baseman, Trevor Spain-Howard. Then Isaac Torres, the right fielder in the 3 spot. Trenton Hernandez, the DH, batting 4th. Then Aiden Rivera in the 5 spot, playing first base. Ben Ulya doing the catching and batting 6th. Luke Shaw, the left fielder, batting 7th. And Ryan Morales, the second baseman, in the 8 spot, followed by Dajel Salcedo, the shortstop. They will face Tyler Biggs, getting the start for COC here today. Biggs on the season. This will be his 5th start, his 9th appearance. He's 0-1 with a 5.56 ERA and 22 2/3 innings pitched. Has given up 31 hits, 18 runs, 14 of them earned, 10 walks, and 13 strikeouts. Opposing hitters hitting .326 against him as he will face the Renegades here today on this what has turned out to be a gorgeous Saturday afternoon here in Santa Clarita. First pitch coming just a little bit after 2 o'clock in the afternoon on this Saturday, March 16th. And we are underway here from Mike Gillespie Field for the first time. College of the Canyons and Bakersfield. As Fuentes leading things off for the Renegades. Biggs' delivery in there for a called strike makes the count 1-1. For Fuentes this year, .303 hitter, 23 for 76. This is 21st start of the year. As that pitch misses down. 2 balls and 1 strike the count here to Fuentes. As Tyler Biggs checks his belt. Gets ready to deliver the 2-1. This ball lifted in the air towards right field. Story drifting that way. Has to back up on it as he kind of thought it was going to hang there, but it went a little bit further back than he expected, but able to make the catch for the first down. Defensively for College of the Canyons today, they're without a couple of their big guns, Charlie Roca and Colin Yeaman, both out of the lineup. So defensively, they go Schwartz at first, Gonzalez at second, Allman at short, Sherrill at third, Jaquez in left, Orsini in center, Story in right, with Vasquez behind the plate, working along with Biggs as the battery. Is the first pitch from Biggs in for a called strike to Trevor Spain-Howard. So one away here for Spain-Howard, who stands in. Spain-Howard, .305 hitter this season, 18 for 59 with 4 doubles and 13 RBIs, has 1 home run this year. As he stands in to face Biggs, whose delivery misses down and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Here in the first inning, COC and Bakersfield here today from Mike Gillespie Field. Spain-Howard this year, 15 walks, 12 strikeouts on the season. So right about 50% on both. Takes a called strike. That's a good fastball in the outer half by Biggs. Makes it 2-2. So a 2-ball, 2-strike count here as Biggs gets ready to deliver. This ball fouled off to the right side, and we'll do it again. For Bakersfield, the Renegades have had a tough run this year, 5-15 on the year. 3-2 in the WSC-South, though, so right now tied with College of the Canyons in the WSC-South, as is a bunch of other teams as that pitch from Biggs misses down and away. You look at the Western State Conference South Division so far this year, Nobody's blowing anybody away. LA Valley at 4-1, then Glendale, Citrus, Canyons, and Bakersfield all at 3-2. Antelope Valley just behind it, 2-3. So a very competitive conference as usually it is. This one chopped on the ground towards Allman, who scoops on 2 hops, fires to first base. 2 down here in the first inning. So Allman getting the start at short, his, I think, 3rd in a row, as the Cougars have been without Yeaman for pretty much the entire series. He's been really fighting something. I think they said a shoulder injury potentially, as Colin did not play both games against Bakersfield and not playing here again today. As Isaac Torres, the 3-hitter, stands in. Torres batting .328 on the year. Takes a hack at the first pitch and misses for a called strike. For Torres this year, 19 hits and just 58 bats. Only his 15th start of the year as he takes a called strike. Torres a home run. Does have 20 RBI, though, as he's done a great job once he's in there at driving the ball and driving in runs. He's had a lot of opportunities out of that 3 spot. Waits on the pitch. Swung on and missed down in the dirt. Vasca is able to make the tag. And a good first inning for Tyler Biggs. 3 up, 3 down with a strikeout of Torres. 1 half inning in the books. No runs, no hits, nobody left. Bakersfield, nothing COC coming up as we go to the bottom half. And we'll give you the COC starting lineup here today on this Mike Gillespie Day, as we've so aptly named it, dedicating the field to Mike Gillespie today. Cougars going to send out the following lineup today. Evan Jaquez will lead things off, followed by Jake Schwartz. Then Angelo Allman will bat in the 3 spot today. Jaden Steinhurst hits in the 4 spot as the DH. Then Hudson Story in right field batting 5th, followed by the second baseman Gabriel Gonzalez. Then Andrew Sherrill, the 3rd baseman, in the 7th spot. Jose Vasquez in the 8th spot, doing the catching today, and Ryan Orsini is batting 9th and playing center field, as they will face Jordan Mora getting the start here today for Bakersfield. Mora played in the field both Game 1 and Game 2 on Tuesday and Thursday, went 2 for 7 so far in the series, but getting the start here today for Mora. This will be his 7th start of the year, 2-4 on the season with a .519 earned run average in 34 2/3 innings pitched. Has given up 40 hits, 24 runs, 20 of them earned, 9 walks and 29 strikeouts, as he will face the top of the Cougars order here coming up. So we go to the home half of the first inning. Jaquez come into the plate. That pitch in for a called strike makes it 1 ball and 1 strike. The count here to Jaquez. Jaquez getting the chance in the leadoff spot today here with Yeaman out of the lineup. .361 this season, 26 for 72. Has started every game so far this year as he hits this one on the ground. Diving stop by Morales, who fires to first. Takes away what might have been a base hit for Jaquez. 1 up, 1 down here in the first inning. Defensively for Bakersfield today, Rivera at first, Morales at second, Salcedo the shortstop, Spain Howard at third, Shaw in left, Fuentes in center, Torres in right, with Uyat behind the dish working along with Mora as the battery is. Here's Jake Schwartz stepping in. Schwartz, so far in the series, 6 hits in 16 at bats as he swings and hits the first pitch on a bounce up the middle for a base hit. And a runner aboard for COC here in the first inning as Schwartz has a single. So a bouncing ball single through the infield for Jake Schwartz. Angelo Allman will come to the plate here with 1 down and a runner on first base. Allman's been picking up the offense as of late. 290 on the season, 20 for 69. This is his 18th start of the year. A home run and 5 RBIs, 19 strikeouts. That's been really his biggest problem this year is the strikeouts. But has kind of, other than the first couple of games of this series, really come on as of late. He's kind of struggled as sort of conference play has come on, but that number gone up. He had an 8-game hitting streak at one point in time, but so far 0 for 5 on Thursday, just 2 hits on Tuesday, so trying to work his way out of it, and here hitting in the 3 spot today. 1 ball, 1 strike to count here to Allman. As they'll check on Schwartz over at first, he's in safely. Mora with a good quick move over to first base. So Allman lines this one out to left field for a base hit. Schwartz will stay at second base, but it's 2 on for COC here in the first. It's back-to-back singles. Good sign for Angelo Allman coming out of it a little bit here as he hits that one on a rope out to left field. And now Jaden Steinhurst comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Steinhurst, 361 this year. Him and Jaquez tied for the team lead in batting average, or the second on the team, excuse me, in batting average coming into the game today. 3 home runs, 13 RBIs, 10 walks, 12 strikeouts. Has 8 extra base hits on the season. Now has a chance to try and get the Cougars on the board here in the first inning. 1 ball, no strike count as Mora gets ready to deliver. That one down in the dirt, scooped out by Ulyat. So good hitters count here for Steinhurst. 2 balls and no strikes. 2 on, 1 out here in the first inning. Takes that pitch down and away. Good vision that time from Steinhurst not to chase on a breaking ball from Mora. And now he's way ahead here. We'll see if Chris Cota lets him swing away. Remember, Cota, the all-time wins leader for COC, played for Mike Gillespie during the 1986 state championship team as Steinhurst works a walk, and the Cougars have the bases loaded here in the first inning. Cota with 506 wins now in his coaching career for COC. Certainly pleased today with Mike Gillespie getting his name on the field. His Story, a line drive base hit out into left center field. That'll bring home at least 2. Steinhurst going to be held at third. Story in with a 2 RBI double, standing up as the Cougars have a 2-0 lead here in the first inning. So a good swing for Story, getting the start out in right field. Was a little shaky on the first play of the ball game out in right field, but drives in 2 as Schwartz and Allman both score. The Cougars up with a quick 2-0 lead as Gabriel Gonzalez steps to the plate here with 2 on, in scoring position and just 1 away. First pitch to Gonzalez in for a called strike. Gonzalez hasn't had many opportunities this year, just his 6th game of the season. His 3rd start, he's 0 for 7 so far this year. And that's kind of been a little bit of the struggle for COC as the bottom half of the order, especially when you have Yeaman and Roca out. Now you're asking guys who have not had opportunities this year, and Gonzalez, Sherrill, Vasquez, to really come alive on the offensive side. Although you have a 2-0 lead, a 2-0 count. This one lifted in the air towards deep left center field. Should at least bring 1 run home. Making the catch is Fuentes. Scoring easily from third is Steinhurst. It's an RBI fly ball for Gonzalez for the 2nd out of the inning, but the Cougars with a 3-0 lead. So Gonzalez does his job that time, nearly hit it out. And remember, the Mike Gillespie Field here historically has been very much a hitter's park. The ball generally travels very well here. So far this season, the Cougars have hit a lot of home runs, as this one hit on the ground by Sherrill. Sending over to first, but the throw is high, but coming back down on the bag is Rivera to save the shortstop Salcedo. So third out of the inning, but the Cougars get 3 on an RBI double from Hudson Story and a sacrifice fly ball from Gabriel Gonzalez. 1 full in the book, COC 3-0. All right, folks, welcome back in here as we get ready for the second inning between COC and Bakersfield. Special guests on with us right now, both Chuck Klein and Jesse Munoz. Chuck Klein, of course, former COC head football coach, dean of athletics, athletic director, a number of other things. Played for Mike Gillespie back in the day as well. And then Jesse Munoz, our live stream corner. Fellas, how's it going?
Well, I think it's a great day. That's what I think.
Great day to be a Cougar.
Oh,
Always
it is
great when we got Chuck Lyon up here in the booth with us. Chuck, talk to me a little bit. You know, obviously your relationship with Mike Gillespie goes back decades. You played for him. He coached you. You umpired with him on the field. Just talk to me about this day and what it means.
You're gonna make me cry, Jess. Not a lot of people know this, but when I came to school at College of the Canyons, Mike was a football coach and a baseball coach, and he was the quarterback coach, a position I played. So my first meeting with Mike was in my house. Larry Risebig and Mike Gillespie came down to my house to recruit me. I've been recruited. You know, I was a decent player. Those two guys left, and I looked at my dad and I said, I'm going to College of the Canyons. It's over. Now, you got to remember, Jess, the softball field we're looking at, that was the whole campus. We did have, I'm not kidding you. That was the whole campus, was trailers right out there, and coaches are calling me like, you're going where? I said, I'm going to College of the Canyons. And they're going, no way. You know, that's not even a school yet. And I said, yeah, but they got Mike Gillespie and Larry Risebig. So that's how it started. And then if anybody that played for Mike knows how demanding he was as a coach. So imagine that in the fall in football and in the spring in baseball. So
no break from it.
Oh, yeah. So I had that guy year-round. So I really got to know him very well. And I got to tell you, I was a little bit of a knucklehead. I ran that cross-country track way too many times. They talked about today. But all the people I played for in my life, that was the guy.
Yeah.
That was the guy, man. He was just that good a coach, and I knew I wanted to be a coach, and a lot of the things that I did as a coach were Mike Gillespie.
Yeah.
So that, that's where that guy's at for me. So, like Lenny said, he brings his dog out here and runs him, and I bring my dog out here and run our dogs in the morning. And we say hello to Skip every time we're here.
And I think, to me, just being around the program and learning the legend of Mike Gillespie, That's what sticks out the most to me is how revered he is. 30, 40, 50 years later, players, people that played with him, people that were around him, they still love him. They still talk about him every day. You know, the impact that he had on people is just really profound. Everyone knows about the baseball part of it. Talk to me about how he was as a football coach. I mean, I got to get some insight on that.
Well, you know, in those days, Jess, coaches coached everything, you know, and that guy was a baseball through and through. So I'm not sure that it was a lot of technique in football more than it was coaching the mental aspect of the game. I remember him, you know, I'd go in the shower after the game and he'd follow me in the shower and we're talking football. I'm not kidding you. We'd just stand there and talk because he wanted to make a point. Or we'd go in the film rooms. Oh, those were crazy days. You know, it was just me and him. And we would go over what he called and how it got ran. And you know, Mike, he's meticulous, man. The guy's a coach. I learned so much from that guy. More than anything, I learned how to approach people, how to hold kids accountable, how to make them feel wanted while I'm ripping their rear end.
Part of it.
Which was something I heard you do quite a few
Oh,
times.
well, you know, and
field.
it's an art, and I learned it from Mike.
But I will say that they all, same thing as you were just saying, respected you, understood they were still wanted here.
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, I just can't tell you. But then you go to the flip side of that. Mike Gillespie got me into the Pac-12 as an umpire.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, no question in my mind, I threw him more than anybody else.
How many times do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go 6 or 7. I'm going to go 6 or 7. And you know what? We have dinner every December together, forever, steak and loan, bro.
Yep.
Every December for as long as we lived. Or he would call me in the off season and say, they put in a new rule. What if I do this? I go, Mike, is that all you do? And he's, yep, that's all I do. And we would discuss a new rule. But on the field, once the game starts, all bets are off, man. All bets are off.
When you talk about how demanding he was, how meticulous he was, I don't have it on my phone anymore, but I used to actually have his rules from USC when he was coaching baseball. Did he have a similar thing with you guys here?
I don't remember that.
Stuff? You don't remember that at
all?
all?
No, all I remember, we had a point chart. He had a point chart.
Okay.
To where if you did certain things right, you got points for it, hit and run, whatever it was. And of course, you could get points deducted, too. So, you know, that's how I remember him holding all of us accountable for that kind of stuff. My best ejection story, I'm going to give you one.
Give me one.
And it's hilarious. Now, you got to remember, this is one of my best friends on earth. This guy, I've known him forever. It's SC-UCLA.
Oh,
I'm in the middle of I'm in the middle of the infield. I'm standing where the shortstop stands. A check swing. It's a check swing. It's a strike or a ball. And his guy's up, and I call it a strike. In baseball, you can't argue balls and strikes. So if he comes out and crosses the line, it's an automatic ejection. It's not even, this isn't even an ejection I wanted. And here he comes. He starts out of the dugout. And I said, Mike, stop. Mike, you can't come out here. Didn't even slow him down. Didn't even slow him down. So he crosses the foul line, and I dump him, right? And I'm standing out there, and I'm waiting for him. And the first base umpire comes over because his job is to get between us, right? Okay, so Mike gets his little shots in, and he's been dumped. Mike Gilmore was the umpire. Gets between me and Mike. And when you do that, then I turn and walk to left center field. So I'm walking towards left center field, and I hear Gilmore yell, "Here he comes, Chuck." So he had gotten around Gilmore, and he's coming at me, man. And it's not slow. It is not slow. So now I'm like, okay, well, this is going to get real fun here. We come together and bump. And our hats bump, and his falls off. He loses it, picks his hat up, turns it backwards, and headbutts me.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
And not many people can see it, but Gilmore saw. And I go, Mike, are we just going to fight out here? I go, really? Over a check swing, we're just going to get in a fight? Because that's what you want. Let's go. Let's give them a show. So the game's over. We go in the locker room, and I get a call from the supervisor of Pac-12 officials. And he's like, we need to suspend Mike Gillespie. Well, now that's my coach.
Yeah.
I said, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, I had as much to do with that as he did. We're going to leave this one alone. If it's okay with you, I would like to leave this one alone. And they did. So that's the only one I'm going to tell. I got a million of them.
and friends, still, dear friends 20 years
We
after
had dinner
that,
that
right?
December.
I was gonna say, did
Exactly.
you guys have dinner that night?
We had dinner that December. I mean, it's, and you got to remember that when Mike left SC, before he went to the Yankees, before he went to Irvine, he actually came back and was an adjunct. He taught a couple classes.
Oh, I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Oh, yeah. And I was the department chair.
Yeah.
So I had him in the bowling class. So
Imagine that. You walk in and Mike Gillespie's teaching your bowling
Teaching
class.
your bowling class. That's
Wow.
a true story, man. So I'd get out of the bowling alley and we would just sit there for an hour and a half while they're bowling and talk. Oh, it was so much fun, man.
That's
It's
And to your point, someone that even after he left College of the Canyons, revered College of the Canyons, was back at all of our Hall of Fame events, so was always around, big win, other events like that. And so really just always a part of this program, even for those that weren't here when he was actually here.
he loved this place.
Yeah.
I mean, truly loved this place, as I do, as you know.
Oh, I know it.
Because I'm on the board of trustees for a reason, because these guys, they taught me to be loyal. They taught me what it's all about. I love this place, and it's because of Mike. It's because of Lenny. It's because of Larry. It's because of you. It's all of us. This is a great place to be, and I learned that from two of the best. And Mike was, oh man, I love that guy.
That's awesome.
Well, we're certainly glad that you learned from him, because we've all learned from you.
I
So we're
appreciate
glad
that.
to have the same thing
I
coming
appreciate
through.
that. I do.
And one day someone's going to be up here talking about you, Coach.
Okay, we'll see.
Probably be one of us.
Probably one of us.
That's funny. Okay.
We appreciate having you on.
You betcha.
We always love hearing
You're
stories.
always welcome. Come up anytime you want to tell some more.
Jesse's
You
always
betcha.
glad to have you on. I'm always glad to have you in a headset. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Could
Thank
be
you.
any sport. Basketball, baseball, football, soccer. We're always glad to have you along. Chuck Lyon, folks,
Thank you
thanks
very
for
much.
joining us. Jesse's going to stay on with us here as we got somebody else coming in, I believe. I think we got Rob Klein coming in. As we get ready here for the third inning. COC was still with a 3-0 lead. The Cougars kind of let one fall through in that last half an inning, had 2 runners on with 1 out, but couldn't put 1 away. So now we go to the third inning here between Bakersfield and College of the Canyons. As we got headsets back on, everybody got audio back in. Rob, you hear us all right?
I do.
All
I
right,
do.
Rob Klein joining us. Jesse, go ahead, take it away.
Rob Klein, a longtime assistant under Coach Mike Gillespie at the USC, and a longtime stalwart of our program here at College of the Canyons. Glad to have you in the booth. Just wanted to, again, get some insights. We heard some of the speakers today. We've heard the legends of Mike Gillespie, the stories, the jokes, everything else. But, you were really close with him during the USC era, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, some of those experiences.
Well, I come on. I'm the luckiest guy around, and how fortunate I was to I played here 2 years for him, coached with him 3 years here, and the 3 years I coached, we were runner-up, state champions, runner-up.
Mm-hmm.
And then what stopped was I got a real job. I had to I went to work for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and wound up spending 32 years with them, and I'm retired now. I've been out 10 years. And so that's why I had to leave the 85, 6, 7. And then I was lucky enough to join Coach at USC in 88 and spent the next 20 years with him there. And but when we talk about SC, it was no different there than here.
Yeah.
He coached the same way. He ran, everything was the same.
Mm-hmm.
And we had great players here, and we had great players there. But are we supposed to be doing like play-by-play?
No,
the
you
foul
keep
tip
telling
and-
stories. We're just listening.
Well, we're into the top of the third, and it's Cougars 3, Bakersfield nothing. And before I start, maybe slamming Bakersfield, high marks to Bakersfield today for letting us run a little late before the game and delaying, and But back to the Coach Gillespie and the players. One thing that Coach Gillespie did with players, we got a lot of great players, but if we got an average player, he made him good.
Yeah.
And if we got a good player, he made him really good, if not great. And it was all about the player, He would lay it out to him, and if you were willing to work and willing to, this is going to be a little awkward, you were willing to just keep your mouth shut and listen and watch and learn, which is a life trait, by the way. Sometimes the best thing to do is just, keep your mouth shut and take a step back and see what's going on. And he was a master at that. The players and in the speeches before the game, there were a couple comments about, players that had some questionable background or, some past histories at other programs that didn't go well. And we would get phone calls occasionally. But Coach Gillespie was so upfront with, hey, it's a new beginning, it's a new start, and it's a new turn the page. It's up to you. And we were just, we were fortunate. A lot of great players here at COC and at SC, and I was not able to go to Irvine with him, and he did a great job at Irvine too.
Well, you talk about the great players, and obviously that translated. My goodness, the wins, the championships, the national title.
Yep.
How did Coach celebrate? Was he turn the page? We got a game tomorrow, or did he allow himself to revel in it and soak it up a little bit?
Okay, come on. He enjoyed winning, but no, there was no time.
Yeah.
There was no time. In fact, the truth of the matter is, and we talked about it, and he would say to me, in the off season or in between weekends, he would say one of the issues with coaching is if you're doing your job and you're critiquing and you're getting better and you're striving to get better, is that we remembered the losses more than the wins. And I'll tell you right now, we're playing LSU in a regional in 1990. We've got like 6 future big leaguers in our lineup. LSU has 2 big league pitchers, Paul Bird, who pitched 15 years in the big leagues, and we're beating them. We're beating them late, and we're going to go to Omaha. And by the way, we did not win that game. LSU went to Omaha and won their first national championship under Skip Bertman. And but in that game, we had a runner at second with 1 out, and there was a questionable.
That was a deep shot there by Fuentes that just goes foul as we pause out real quick for a second. So we'll go back to 3-2 here with Biggs here in the third inning, and we can get back to the story here.
I know our angle is not real good right here, but that ball looked fair.
It looked fair from here.
But that umpire clearly made the right call. That ball was no doubt foul. So back to the LSU story. With 1 out and a runner at second, fly ball deep to right, you go part way. Because if he catches it, so what? You get to third with 2 outs. But if he drops that ball, we have to score. And so to finish up the story real quick, he dropped the ball and we were tagging, and we got to third. We didn't score. In a game we lost 5-4. And Coach and I would talk about that, but I can bring up, it was a hard thing to shake when you think about the things that we talked about.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll tell you this: the first time, gosh, to see Coach Gillespie break down and cry. I mean, he was not an emotional guy. But when we won the national championship in 1998, and we were at home plate, and the first thing he did, I have a great picture. So where are we?
I'll give you a break here for a second. We go to the home half of the third. Canyon's up 3-0, and so we'll have Steinhurst, Story, and Gonzalez getting ready to come up here against Jordan Mora. as we continue on here, as we're talking about Coach Mike Gillespie, Skip Gillespie, as Rob Klein up here with us right now, talking about the 98 championship team, giving Rob a little bit of a chance to kind of catch himself here.
Regroup. So we're at home plate, the game's over, and you know, the shaking of the hands with the coaches and the congratulations, and he comes over, and I have the photo. My wife caught the photo, and he gives me a big kiss on the cheek, and he's crying. You know, what a great day.
Yeah, those are memories that, you know, obviously you're going to cherish forever, just like today. You know, today's opening, I've been telling people all week, it's a great day to be a Cougar. You know, we have those days here every once in a while, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And just so glad that you could be here, and all the players and coaches and friends and family and supporters that were here.
And I just want to say, you breaking down just shows us how much Coach Gillespie meant to everybody, including his assistant coaches, including his players, including his friends, his family, everybody. Yeah. That's just every story I've heard leading up to Skip is this breaks it down right here. You breaking down about it.
He you know, that moment when he gave me the kiss and said, "Wow." It was like 1,000 bricks off his shoulder. Yeah. You know, we had been at SC, we had been so close. We were in the championship game in '95 and had a lead in the 5th or 6th inning against Cal State Fullerton. And, you know, Mark Kotze, great player, was their closer and hit a big home run and blah, blah, blah. Hey, going back to Coach Gillespie about talking what you were just mentioning, you know, Coach Gillespie was a star. Whether you were Mark Pryor and the National Player of the Year on every syndicate across the country, or a team manager, if you called him, he returned your call. There was never, I can't tell you how many people I ran into, and I have conversations about Coach Gillespie, or even years ago, hey, I talked to Coach Gillespie the other day, and I'm thinking, really? And he says, oh yeah, I just called him out of the blue. He called me right back.
Yeah.
I mean, the gentleman, the man was amazing. And gosh, this today, by the way, the COC and what COC has done, and, you know, Mike Halkovich and Jesse here and Chad. And by the way, I want to make a comment about COC. I did a little video yesterday for Mitch, and I meant every word I said in it about COC being in good hands. 54 years this program's been here. By the way, this bungalow we're standing under, this has been here 54 years.
I believe it.
Yeah. You can see the cobwebs and the spider webs, the dust.
It's amazing what 11 coats of paint can do over the years. But there's been three leaders of the program, 3 coaches, and just stop and take a step back on that, and at any level, to think about that. And then, Chad Peters in charge of the athletic department, and Jesse as the SID, and I know Halko's retiring. I'm not sure who they're going to replace Halko.
We're going to miss him.
Yeah, and the wealth of knowledge that he has here. So, and the place, by the way, is beautiful. The park.
Yeah, definitely something we take pride in, and now that it bears the Gillespie name, I think it's going to continue to be a point of pride for us. And again, one of those special days here on campus, and some special people out to share it with us. And Coach, tremendous part of Skip's success, both at College of the Canyons, a member of the state championship team, one of our Hall of Famers here in the booth with us, and then, like you said, on to USC, and years and years beyond that as well.
I was so lucky to be a part of it. And there's a Coach Mooney, Len Mooney, the former athletic director.
He's on deck, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least
you can track him down.
At least he doesn't have to follow an umpire. Hey, by the way, let's talk about Chuck Lyon.
Chuck said, how many times did you get tossed?
Well, let me tell you about it. Okay. So, and this is a true story. About what I'm about to tell you is an absolute true story. So we got Coach Gillespie, head coach, and we've got John Savage, great coach at UCLA now, was our pitching coach, and Andy Nieto was our hitting coach, and then you've got me. And I always looked at myself as the jack of all trades and master of none. My job was to specialize. Coach Gillespie would take me and have me go with a kid, whether it was pitching, because pitching was my background, but it could be catchers, pop-ups, whatever. Okay, so we're in the heat of a game at Arizona State, and Chuck's behind the plate. And I got to admit, Chuck was a really good umpire. But like anybody, they can have bad days. And so Mike and Coach Savage, Coach Gillespie and Coach Savage were a little frustrated with Coach Lyon's strike zone. Well, I'm at the other end of the dugout because I had my role, and I could see one of them was about to go, if not both of them. And when I say go, get dumped. So I go walking down the dugout in front of the players, and I had a great rapport with the players, and a lot of them were here today. I go walking through the dugout, and I said, "Hey, fellas, see ya. I'll see you in the locker room later." and they all look at me like, "What the heck is Coach Klein doing?" And I stepped out in front of Coach Gillespie and Coach Savage, and all I had to say was one word, and Chuck dumped me. and what it was okay. Now it brought the tone of the game down. Yeah. It brought the heat. Chuck's now got some. He's feeling good because he threw somebody.
He's in control now.
That's right. we still got John Savage who's calling the pitches, and we still have Coach Gillespie who's calling the offense. And throw him out at third. Throw him out at third.
Spain Howard going to be into third, and he's going to get to score as the ball goes into the COC dugout. So an error by the Cougars off the throw off a ball that hit off the top of the wall. It was a tough play for Orsini trying to shield from the sun. It banks off the wall, tries to get Spain Howard at third, and the relay throw gets into the dugout. So Bakersfield gets on the board. Spain Howard gets on with a triple and scores with the error. So a 3-1 score now in favor of College of the Canyons as we continue on here in the fourth inning. As we got Rob Klein up here with us, Jesse Munoz up here with us. As we go back, you were talking about getting dumped by Chuck.
I was, but right now Coach Gillespie is saying, "What are we doing?"
And that was my next question.
What are we doing?
What Skip's reaction to something like that?
He just turned and say, "What are we doing?" Really?
And sometimes that's the best. That's all you can say.
So back to that story. Chuck threw me, but it was all about, saving. Coach Gillespie's role and Coach Savage's role were way more important than me.
And it's interesting you bring up. I used to referee ice hockey, so I know that feeling of being Chuck from behind the plate, and you're just waiting for something to break. And in baseball, it's a coach getting tossed. In hockey, it's a fight happening. You just kind of need to reset the pressure. So it's kind of funny you tell that story and that you were aware enough to say, look, I don't need to be here as much as these two need to be here. I'm going to go get pitched. Is not something that a lot of coaches have awareness. So it's pretty interesting, and I'm sure Coach Gillespie had some words for you afterwards.
Well, that was part of my role. In over the years, I probably got ejected 10 times, which I'm not proud of, and I'm not sitting here touting because it's never good to get ejected. But of the 10 times I got ejected, probably 7 of them were under those circumstances. Yep. Yeah. It was better me than Coach Gillespie. And by the way, Coach Gillespie he had his share of going. Sometimes I was asleep at the switch and go, oh no, he just got ejected. So
he beat you out there, huh?
Yeah. But that was his fierce competitiveness. He demanded, and by the way, umpires, like players, he just wanted you to call a ball, a strike, and don't be something you're not. Here's something real quick about umpiring. You'll have an umpire who, and I don't know why, and I can't explain this, but there's some truth to it. You have an umpire who will have a great game, 2-1 game, and he's had a great zone for 8 innings. And all of a sudden in the 9th inning, it just changes. And I think, Coach Gillespie used to think that, okay, it's the 9th inning. I got to be really good here. It's a 2-1 game. These guys are battling like crazy, so I need to be better. And what happens is they miss instead of just letting it flow. I don't know if that's coming across right.
No, I know what you mean.
It makes sense. And I've been in plenty of those games, and you're exactly right. It's a situation of just keep doing what you're doing. Don't mess anything up.
God, you've been great for 8 innings. What changed? I mean, we're the ones battling to win this thing. You just keep doing what you're doing. And by the way, that was the message to the player. I I don't need you to come up and hit a 600-foot home run, because the truth is you can't. Just come up and square up a ball. Just hit it hard. Just, you know, have a good at bat, because all we need right now is a good at bat. And so that's so true in everything. So
One last question, Rob. You know, tell me, I've heard stories, I've heard jokes, I've heard. Did he have a saying that resonated with you, or something that you know, we all have coaches where they say something that gets in our head, and 30 years later we're still saying it. Was there anything like that stands out to you? Something that Skip would have said?
Yeah, I have the answer to that, and then I have a story I'd love to tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we used to be on the third base side at Dado Field, and then we moved over to the first base side because they did an improvement to the ballpark. And I was the first base coach. So now I've got him 30 feet away from me on my left hip, which was fine. So we were real good about picking pitches, you know, seeing catchers, pitchers, and blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, the competitor he was, we could, tell me they're okay.
As Orsini and Story crash into one another and immediately sprinting out Gonzalez to go check on him. Both looking for the ball in the sun. Orsini made the catch. Cougars need to get the ball into the infield, and they do.
Okay.
As Torres is going to move up, and now we're going to call time, and everybody going to sprint out. They went into each other hard there. You can see it on your screen. And it was kind of a sun-shielded ball. Orsini was moving towards it. Story was coming across to his right. And they crashed into one another. It's good to see Hudson getting up a little bit, but I think Ryan took the brunt of it here. Coach Cota out there, the athletic training staff out as well. And so we'll pause here for a second. Make sure everybody's all right. As Rob, we want to thank you for joining us, coming on with us today.
Oh, you're welcome.
We appreciate the stories.
Staying with us a second. I know the people at home are, the right fielder's moving a little bit, so that's and they're working on the center fielder. So,
well, they're certainly in good hands with our training staff out there. Eric and Cenas today here. Looks like Chad Peters heading out there just to double check, a former athletic trainer himself.
Yeah, one of the best.
Yep.
I think he actually got told to go get something else here, so, because I saw Chris Cota run over and point at him, and Chad was coming out with the cart. But
the right fielder's on his feet, so that's a real good sign.
Yeah, we're going to go to commercial here. We're going to just step away for a sec. But, Rob, we want to thank you for coming on with us. And we'll update everybody as we get back in here from Cougar Field. 3-1 COC here in the fourth inning. As we come back in here to Whittenfield, I'm in the wrong place, to Mike Gillespie Field in my brain here, as we get ready for continued fourth inning action. Ryan Orsini actually carted off, but was sitting up, which is a good sign. So we think maybe a lower leg cast injury. We saw him, he got carted off, athletic training staff taking care of him. So we'll come back in with a runner on second base here for Bakersfield. Hunter Asang will take over in center field as we wait on Tyler Biggs to get loose back once again. And now joining us here in the press box is Jesse Munoz staying with us, and Len Moone joining us as well. Len, of course, former Dean of Athletics here, former assistant coach under Mike Gillespie, joining us in the booth here today as we continue on in the fourth inning here on Mike Gillespie Day.
Former head coach and a three-time athletic Hall of Famer here at the college. And, you know, one of Skip's dear friends, both in the baseball world and off the field. And just, you know, again, Coach, wanted to talk a little bit about Skip and what this day means for you, what it means for the college, and everything else.
Well, I think that most of us talked about it in our little speeches, and what he did for so many student athletes, and including me, is beyond generosity. Beyond generosity. The guy was out of control. He would do anything for anybody, and he was an angel on my shoulder. He took care of me, and who knows what would have happened with me in my career. But what a dear man, and it's a shame that he's no longer with us. But what a legacy he has. What a legacy.
You know, we talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, just, you know, even though I wasn't here during the Mike Gillespie era, I've been a part of the Hall of Fames. I've seen some of his former players and assistant coaches. He's revered. He's revered, and it's 30 years later, and people still talk about him like he's here with them, talking about the memories, the impact that he had, you know, and you echoed that, you know, just the same. What would he have thought about this, you know, this day and this field and this tribute to him?
Well, he would have been very humble. He always was very humble, but we still might be in that ceremony. He could talk, but he loved.
Didn't get him.
He loved to talk. You know, a lot of people didn't realize his first couple years here at College of the Canyons, he also taught English. He was a very, very intelligent person, and very good with the pen. And some people said he got in a little trouble because he could write so well. We'll leave it at that. But sharp-witted, that's I mean, it's unbelievable how clever he was and how witty he was. He had the greatest lines, and I think Tom Gamboa said it. His thunderous laugh was so contagious. So much fun to play for.
Coach,
and work for.
You talk about, you know, obviously, you know, you became the head coach when Mike left to USC. And we talked about it a little bit with Rob and a little bit with Chuck. He was still, you know, a part of this program, the legend of Mike Gillespie, but, you know, came back to the college, was a part of things, was a part of events and activities. You know, this place, what did it represent for him?
Well, there was many conversations that I had with him that he sort of deep down regretted leaving College of the Canyons. I mean, how could I even say that when a guy wins a national championship and he's a Division I Hall of Fame? He goes to the College World Series with UC Irvine. He puts so many ball players in the big leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. One of the best known pitching coaches right now in the big leagues is Mark Pryor, who played for him. So he loved College of the Canyons, and I think Coach Cota talked about it briefly. He would always call, and my first couple years when we made it to the playoffs, he had not gotten SC up and running yet, so he was at every playoff game.
Yeah.
If they were done, he was at every playoff game, and so loyal, and he loved talking baseball. Sort of like what Gamboa said. We all thought he might teach him how to fish or golf, but yeah, he didn't want anything to do with it. He wanted to coach baseball, and I'm sure he's getting it done up there, upstairs, because he's got a lot of ex-Cougars, and he's got some other great ball players that were part of our family. We did have a few real loyal people that were outside of College of the Canyons that were loyal to our baseball family. Scott Muckey was one who was the head baseball coach at Crespi High for years and had quite a few big leaguers himself at Crespi, and Kevin Murphy and Rob Piccolo. I think you guys know the name Piccolo. He was coached for the Padres and played a little in the big leagues. Real good player at Pepperdine. Robert Corrales, who actually was a Cougar. Robert and I were co-captains in '74. What a great, so we've had some really great people pass away, and you know that Mike's up there coaching them. There's no doubt.
You know, Coach, you talk about the success, the championships, the conference titles, the Hall of Famers, the big league players. You know, the lineage of our program, from Skip to Lenny Moone, from Lenny Moone to Chris Cota, you know, that's all part of the Gillespie tree. That's, you know, you played for them, you coached with them, and now you're leading the program. What does that mean to you?
Well, I'm lucky, I'll tell you that. But he always wanted, not that we always had control, but he always wanted a Cougar to be at helm.
Yeah.
He always wanted an ex-Cougar to be at the helm, no doubt about it. And so far, that's been the case. And I think, you know, one of the things that just really separated Mike from everybody else as a head coach, and come on, think about how much success he had. He was so humble, and it didn't matter who you were. He treated you with class. It didn't matter who you were. What, you know, it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. He remembered young assistant coach's first name. When a head coach like that remembers your first name, you actually maybe think he remembered you.
Yeah.
And there was a few of his colleagues that did the same. It really makes you feel good when you're a young assistant coach. You think a head coach, you know, actually remembers you in the first place and then knows your first name, and he did that many a times.
Well, that just speaks volumes to the man he was, the stories we've heard, remembering people's names. Rob was talking about how people would say, hey, I talked to Coach the other day. He called me right back. I called him on the phone. And it just amazes me how much you guys tell stories. And like Jesse said, revered of him. We talked about Chris Cota being one of the Mike Gillespie guys. You were one of the Mike Gillespie guys as well. And Jesse kind of asked this, what's it mean to have a guy like Chris now taking over the helm, really continuing on that Mike Gillespie legacy?
Well, you know, obviously, I had a chance to coach Cota as an assistant because I was an assistant coach on that 85-86 team before I took over and Mike went to SC. So then Coach Cota, you know, fooled around in minor league ball for a while, then came back and was my assistant. So it's really important. And you know what? We all did it our own way. Believe me, I wish I could have done it Mike Gillespie. And I think maybe a little bit I tried too hard sometimes because you really, as a skip or a manager, you really have to be yourself. You got to be Lenny Moone. You got to be Chris Cota. And that's what eventually happened. But you try to mimic someone that's a legend, you're just going to freaking go home, beat your head. I mean, you know, it's not that easy.
Coach, the baseball, the on the field, like we've said, the experiences, the stories, the stuff in the dugout. Talked a little bit, you know, you were so close with Coach off the field as well. Some of the things that you guys spent time and were able to enjoy life outside the baseball field, off the diamond. Talk to me about that.
Well, you know, this is really going to surprise people. Yeah, this is really weird. Him and I both have a thing for California wildflowers. You are going to go crazy, really. No, and, you know, right now this is going to be another super bloom year.
Yes, it is.
And Mike would go, hey, have you been up to, you know, the Poppy Festival or the Poppy Reserve? I go, yeah, Sherry and I just went. Or, you know, Underwood Farms or the Conzo Gardens. I mean, you name it, Mike knew where the flowers were. He loved it. And then when we would take drives to San Luis Obispo, like right now is almost the perfect time of the year, maybe a couple weeks more, and it's just out of control how beautiful it is. And he was a lover of color, a lover of flowers, and just such an intelligent man. But most of it centered around baseball.
Yeah.
Somehow, talking about coaches or talking about players or talking about, you know, or he'd call me out of the blue and go, what do you think about this first and third play? And I'd go, really? You're going to do that? I go, are you really going to do that in a game? He goes, hey, that's the only way to find out. His mind never stopped when it came to doing something different. And he didn't care. He was not afraid ever of failing. That is a genius. It takes a really lot of courage to be one of those guys. And that's really what separates a lot of people. You know, he wasn't afraid. And most of the time he was right.
Well, that's hard to do, not be afraid of failure, because that's what drives most of us to not take leaps and take jumps, and that's maybe why he took that jump to USC, even though you said he was maybe a little sad he left College of the Canyons, but you got to try and leap as far as you can and not be afraid to fall, and he certainly didn't fall, went on to win a national title.
No, he, you know, in '86, Mitch brought that up a little. Mitch brought the story up of '86, and we were down in Bakersfield and down in Long Beach, and SC was really romancing him. I mean, they were romancing him so much that I thought I was the head coach. I'm going, Jason, hey, is Kip, you going to be around for a meal? No, you got it covered. I got this. I'll be back for the game. I mean, really, that's not the. I was just being a little funny there, but yeah, he was unbelievable. He was such a genius, and they were so lucky to get him. I think it was he knew he had to move on to really finish the pinnacle. You know, he played. You know, like one of the few coaches that both played and coached a national championship team. Him and Jerry Kendall. And he was an SC lover in a way. But what he really loved was coaching young kids to play baseball and making them better. He was so much fun to play for, guys. Really, I'm telling you, it was. Hey, we never. I mean, very seldom did we ever condition. No, we conditioned for punishment. There was. He goes, hey, let's get this squared away. We got to change here. He goes, baseball's not aerobic. Let's go. I know those are the old days, but he goes, hey, first of all, if you're in shape, it's going to take me longer to punish you.
But, you know, it speaks to that you know, kind of old school, hard-nosed baseball mentality that, you know, you go out there and you take care of your business and you go out there and play the game the right way. And, you know, Matt was talking about it earlier, the Gillespie rules of baseball. You know, and the way that he did things, Rob Klein, you know, same thing. You know, he didn't really change once he got to SC. It was just a different batch of players and a different type of player, but he ran things the same way. And, you know, obviously the success speaks for itself.
Well, the way you said that makes a lot of sense. That ball's out of here.
Yes, it is. Hunter is sang with a 2-run home run. Has astute eyes from Lenny Moone up here. Hunter is saying, I think it's first of the year, first of his career. And that is certainly it. It gives the Cougars a 5-2 lead. Has a shot to center field. We've talked about it a lot on the webcast this year. This ballpark, Mike Gillespie Field, it flies out here. Cougars, one of the top home run teams in the state of California this year. When you look at the numbers for COC this season, now 28 home runs, which is top 10 in the state this year. And the ball traveling again, as Sang has his first 2-run shot, makes it 5-2. As we'll let you guys get back to it. I think, Jesse, you were talking, or Len, I can't remember who was talking. This one hit on the ground. Little one-hopper to third, and Spinehoward will throw out Hawkins for the second out.
Coach, you know, you talked about in your pregame, you know, you feel like you talk to Skip every day when you're out here. If he was here today, you already talked about it a little bit about it might have gone a little long, but what would you say to him?
I would just say thanks for the journey. It was quite a journey for a lot of us. And one of the things I didn't say, the 7 or 8 guys that were here that I know real well were probably the 7 or 8 guys that he really was at second chances plus second chances. Mm-hmm. Guys that really couldn't find their niche. And
that's a really nice play by Morales.
Steve Smith, who I briefly mentioned, and Robert Corrales, and Marty Slimak, who was the head coach at Cal Lutheran for years, and Smitty was the third base coach for the Phillies that won the World Series. These are guys that were sort of not floundering, but they just didn't know what they wanted to do, you know. And they got a little bigger and they got a little older, and they showed up, and they had 1 year of eligibility left, and they came, and it put some of us guys on the bench, but it just put them in the right direction. Smitty ended up getting a scholarship and being a star at Pepperdine, and then played minor league baseball for years, and then coached with the Padres, coached in the big leagues for years. And then for Marty Slimak, he played baseball and landed on his feet and was the head coach at Cal Lutheran for years. Won a national championship there. Yep. So, and there was a couple other guys here that were the same boat. was Jason Felice was here today. Jason Felice was here today, and Jason was sort of struggling a little. And
yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, we talked about Coach. A lot of emotions out there today. You know, beautiful day at the ballpark. A great day to be a Cougar. You know, and this is why, you know, I love my job so much. Is days like this, events like this, when you get the alumni back out here, you get the legends of the game out here to revel in it and you know, reconnect with College of the Canyons. And you know, Coach, no one closer to Skip Gillespie than you, and certainly appreciate your time up here. I know you got a lot of people you've been making the rounds, catching up with, and remembering and telling stories, and so we don't want to keep you up here too much longer, but you know, what a day.
Well, there's going to be, yeah, there'll be some stories told tonight, and there'll be some tears shed tonight, but, you know, my best friends, I wouldn't have come to College of the Canyons as a freshman, you know, out of Granada Hills High School. I don't even know, you know, who knows where I'd be. And everybody can say that.
Yeah.
I mean, life is timing. Everybody can say that. But, I mean, these are guys that are still my friends today. I mean, that's a good haul.
That's awesome.
So this is just a beautiful day. I mean, I feel bad for Ryan Orsini. That kills me. He's a great kid. But other than that, it's been almost a perfect day. So.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. We
Thank
always
you guys.
appreciate it. Jesse?
Absolutely.
You staying on or you hopping off?
I don't know. I might have to catch my breath. There's a lot going on today, but like I just want to echo Matt. You know, love to have you, Coach, in the booth anytime you want to come on and say a few words. You know, reflect on Cougar baseball or Skip or anything else for that matter. You are welcome.
Well, it's a pretty good view of that sign right from here, I'll tell you.
That gets me pumped up.
Me too.
All right, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I'm going to bring you down, and we'll go back in here on this fifth inning with a runner on. This one bunted out in front of the mound, picked up by Biggs, has only played a first, and he's going to cut down Fuentes at first. It's a sacrifice bunt for Fuentes for the first out of the inning. As one down here in the fifth, Cougars with a 5-2 lead. So one away as Salcedo will move up to second base. As here's Spain Howard, who's 1 for 2 today, had a triple and scored the first run of the ball game for Bakersfield in the fourth inning. Takes that pitch down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. So some defensive changes. Jaquez over in right field now for COC. Alex Friend comes in to take over for Hudson Story, and he'll hit in Story's spot, who's due up at third in the fifth inning for COC, as the Cougars hold this 5-2 lead right now, as that went in for a called strike. Makes it 2-1. We thank you all for sticking with us here as we had Chuck Lyon, Rob Klein, Lenny Moone all on to talk about Coach Gillespie here at Mike Gillespie Field. Of course, honoring Skip as that one hits Spain Howard right in the hip. So Biggs hits another batter, his second in as many innings, and it'll put runners on first and second here. As that might bring the end of the day for Tyler Biggs. We have some work in the bullpen. Harish Balachandran out in the bullpen getting loose. I saw Chris Cota pop his head out, but he walks right back into the dugout. So Biggs here will keep working with two on and 1 out. And a 5-2 ball game here in the fifth. Biggs was solid through the first 3 innings. Retired 9 of the first 10 he faced. Only gave up a hit to Trenton Hernandez, but that leadoff triple off the top of the wall by Spain Howard, and then the walk to Torres, and then the fly ball from Trent Hernandez that actually saw Orsini and Hudson Story crash into one another, and we had to unfortunately have Hudson Story has left the game. Unfortunately, had Ryan Orsini, had to be carted off. Looked like he had a cast on his leg, an air cast on his left leg maybe, we'll say, one of the lower legs nonetheless, but was sitting up, which is a very good sign. Unfortunately, though, that probably not going to be back, and the Cougars are kind of fighting through some injury trouble here without Roca and Yeaman, but leading 5-2 after the Isang home run in the bottom half of the 4th inning, his first of the season. And Biggs kind of has struggled since that triple. Gave up a hit to Ulyat and a hit Shaw, but was able to get out of the inning with a couple of ground balls. Now he faces Torres here. Torres on a 5-game hitting streak is 0 for 1 today. And now Chris Cota out to talk to the field umpire for something. Not sure what. So we'll continue on here. 1 ball and no strikes the count to Torres. As we said, working on a 5-game hitting streak. Takes a called strike, makes it 1-1. Torres walked in the 4th and scored. After he stole 3rd on a ball in the dirt, then scored on the ground out from Rivera. He actually advanced on the fly ball from Hernandez as Orsini and Story were down. It was kind of a delayed advance, too. Everybody was kind of trying to solve what was happening. This one hit on the ground. Aliman to second for 1. Turn to first. A double play. 6-4-3. Aliman, Gonzalez, Schwartz, and Biggs gets through 5 with a 5-2 lead as we go to the home half of the 5th here from Mike Gillespie Field.
Hey, this is Todd Zeal, and unfortunately I'm in Port St. Lucie with the Mets this weekend. I really wish I could be in California for the dedication at COC. I think Mike Gillespie is well deserving, and this is a little bit overdue if you ask me. I grew up in Valencia and grew up with the Gillespie family. Mike was a legend at USC, but before that, he was a legend at College of the Canyons, and so grateful that he's finally getting that field dedicated in his name. And look, Mike and I go way, way back. I had the pleasure of knowing him as a young player before I ever had a chance to play for him. I was able to play for him for a couple of years in Alaska, some of the best formative years of my baseball career. And had Mike Gillespie been the coach at USC a couple of years earlier, this UCLA Bruin right here might have been sitting with an SC Trojan hat, because I would have loved to have a chance to play for him at the Division I level. Was a teacher, was an inspiration, class guy, and carried on that work at UC Irvine as well. So deserving. And having grown up with the Gillespie family, also want to make sure that I give a shout out to Mitch Gillespie, who ironically, we've known each other since 6th grade. We've remained very good friends. He's such a loyal, great friend. And by virtue of Mitch and Mike Gillespie, I was able to meet my wife, Kristen, at Mitch's wedding. So what a great full circle moment. Wish we could be there. Kristen and I and the Gamboa and Zeal family wish nothing but the best. And congratulations, Mike. Congratulations to the Gillespie family. Wish we could be there. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Come back in here to Mike Gillespie Field. We continue on in the 5th inning. Canyons with a 5-2 lead right now. as it'll be Allman, Steinhurst, and Story. Heard from Todd Zeal there just a second ago. As we honor Coach Gillespie here today. As Allman works a walk, and the Cougars with a runner aboard here in the 5th inning. As Allman with a single and a flyout today. Steinhurst first pitch swinging, grounds this one towards second, and Bakersfield going to be able to turn a double play. And so Steinhurst grounds into a 4-6-3 double play, and 2 away here in the inning. Zog's friend going to come in. As he takes over for Story. Friend showing bunt. We'll put this one on the ground. Spainhauer, though, reading it well, charging the throw to first. Gonna pull the first baseman, Rivera, off the bag. It was gonna be tight, a close play. And I think Friend's gonna get a base hit out of it. As the Cougars with a 2-out base runner here. Bring us to Gabriel Gonzalez. More a good move over to first, but not going to be in time. A pitch in for a called strike. Runner in motion here. Throw down to second base. Not going to be in time. Friend going to have a stolen base. And the Cougars put a runner in scoring position here with 2 away. So 1-1 count here to Gonzalez. Takes a called strike. Gonzalez 0 for 2, flew out and struck out. He's down on strikes. Mora gets out of an early jam, gets a ground ball double play, lets a 2-out single up, but strikes out Gonzalez for the second time today. And we go to the 6th inning in a 5-2 COC ball game. Cougars out in front here over Bakersfield.
Hello, everybody. Coach Rob Klein here, also known as Copper, an appropriate name that Coach Gillespie gave me many years ago. What a great honor and tribute that College of the Canyons is doing for Coach Gillespie. Tomorrow's the big day and the big dedication of the field. It's been a long time coming, and there's been a lot of people involved in this. And I want to say a few shout-outs right now to about College of the Canyons. Chad Peters is in charge of the athletic department now, and they're in very good hands. He's young, energetic. Lenny Moone, longtime coach who I coached with, played for, and was Mike's right-hand man. He was instrumental in this as well. And Cota, who's running the baseball program and got his 500th win a couple weeks ago. And I got to tell you, I called him and I said, You know, Coach Gillespie, when he got his 500th win, he said, hey, if we were any good, we'd be celebrating 600. And that was the sense of humor of Coach Gillespie. But COC, College of the Canyons, when you think about the baseball program, the last 54 years, there's been 3 people in charge of it. And it's in great hands, and it's going to continue to be in great hands. And high marks to COC for doing what they're doing tomorrow, and the tribute to Coach Gillespie. And how about Coach Gillespie? He touched so many of us, including myself. I wouldn't be where I am today, and in the career I had with the Sheriff's Department, his mentoring, his guidance, and him allowing me to be his volunteer assistant for all those years. And I was so lucky and fortunate to be a part of it. And gosh, he let me do anything. You know, he was my dad. He was my mentor. We had such a great relationship. I was his driver. I was his security, reservations on the road trips. Gosh, I miss him. I miss him all the time. Coach Mooney and I are very close, and that's who I began with, Coach Mooney and Coach Gillespie. And to this day, Lenny and I are very, very close, and there isn't a day or goes by that I don't think of Coach Gillespie. I want to share a couple things. He obviously, as you know, he was a winner. He was a winner in all aspects of life. But on the baseball field, between the lines, I mean, we had battles with some of the premier coaches, and between the lines, it was fierce. And when it was over and we got to the parking lot or the locker room or maybe even a restaurant afterwards, the relationships with those coaches, the respect between them, and I'm talking big-time coaches, all over, the junior college level, NC2A 1 level, all of it. And another comment about Coach Gillespie, there's a reason he's in the Hall of Fame of every level that he coached at. And that's another reflection of, and those things, you know, those things are submitted, they're voted on by your peers, they're voted on by people who are outsiders looking in, and that's just another reflection of how special of an individual he was. So tomorrow, again, is a big day. It's a big thing for the Gillespie family. Mitch, you've done a great job, Mitch, and I just want to say thank you, and I'll be there tomorrow and celebrate it with everybody. It should be a great turnout and a great day. Go Cougars, and congratulations, Coach. Miss you every day.
It's Darren Davison to take over and pitch here in the 6th inning for COC. Strikes out Trenton Hernandez for the first out of the inning. There's one away here in the inning. Aiden Rivera, who's 0 for 2 today, is grounded out twice standing in. Rivera hits this one in the air towards right field. That one's going to get down for a base hit. Jaquez and Desang both trying to give chase. Neither could get there. So a one-out single here off of Davis. For Rivera, his first hit of the ball game. For Rivera, his third hit in the last 2 games against COC. He was 2 for 3 on Thursday, 0 for 4 on Tuesday in the Cougars' 7-1 win. Bakersfield, of course, won game 2 on Thursday in a tight battle. A 3-2 game as Manuel Herrera went a complete game and got the win. On Tuesday, it was Oscar Patron going the complete game for COC to pick up the win. So a couple of complete games today, not maybe so much, at least on the Cougars side, as Davis in there to take over for Biggs, who went 5 and left with the lead. It's 1-1 here with a 1 out A runner on first base, runner in motion, throw down to second base. Gonna be in time to cut down Rivera. Great throw that time from Vasquez. And so Rivera cut down on a swing and a miss from Ulyat. And Rivera, the second out of the inning, caught stealing. And that's something the Cougars have done a lot better job of this year in terms of cutting down runners in motion. Last year, the Cougars were one of the worst teams in the state in terms of runner caught stealing percentage. This year, 14th best in the state, as they've caught nearly 30% of runners, which I know sounds like a low number, but in college baseball here in the 3C2A, that's a rather good percentage. So it's limiting the opposition from running. It's 2 down here in the top half of the 6th. Davis misses away. It's a 3-2 count. Davis is 3-2, hit on the right side, sliding stop. Nice play from Gonzalez as he fires to first and takes away what might have been a bouncing ball base hit from Ulyat. 3 up and 3 down after the runner caught stealing, and Rivera, who had a single. We go to the home half of the 6th inning, and COC holding a 5-2 lead.
There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Mike Gillespie and the impact that he had on my career and my life. Words cannot measure the gratitude that I have for him and what he did for me and for my family at the time that I got to know him. He truly is one of a kind and one of the most special men that I've ever known. I miss you.
Hi, my name is John Riley, and I pitched for Coach Gillespie his first year at USC, and wanted to take a moment to say congratulations to Coach Gillespie, Mitch, and the Gillespie family for College of the Canyons dedicating the field in his name this Saturday, March 16th. The field will be named Mike Gillespie Field, so his legend and legacy will live on at College of the Canyons, as it should. I mean, Coach, from 70 to mid-80s before he went over to USC. During that period, he won 11 conference titles. He won 3 state titles, and I think they were runner-up in another 2. So the dedication in his name is well-deserved, as well as his coaches that he had with him there at College of the Canyons. Good coaches, good people. So I'm looking forward to the dedication on Saturday. Although I just played for Coach the 1 year, we kept in touch over a lifetime through alumni games and mutual friends. And I'd come down to games, and he'd always, want to talk to you and want to hear what's going on with you. Always very welcoming, and I appreciated that as well. Coach Gillespie, as well as Coach Buford and Coach Sanchez, have a special place in my heart. They helped me complete my degree after I moved on into the minor leagues, and graduated a few years after that, and they were very instrumental in helping me. So I appreciated that, and I thank them for that. One quick story, Coach Gillespie used to coach third base when he first started at USC, and we were going into Arizona State for the first time since he started coaching there, and I told him, hey, you're going to get the shit ragged out of you when you run from our dugout over to the third base box. And he laughed and said, yeah, okay. So the time comes, he runs over there, and a guy immediately stands up and yells, hey, I thought they were going to get someone younger than Dato. And I look over at Coach, and he's got this big grin on his face over there in the third base coaching box. And we laughed about it after the inning. But fun times with Coach that year. And the dedication at College of the Canyons is well deserved. 716 winning percentage is just incredible. I'm looking forward to the dedication this Saturday, the 16th, and I hope to see some familiar faces out there, people I haven't seen in a while perhaps. So God bless and fight on.
So 2 away, a pair of fly balls here in the 6th inning for COC. Hunter Sang steps in for the Cougars now. Two ball, no strike count here to a Sang. We had the home run to give the Cougars the 5-2 lead in his first at bat of the ball game. Sherrill and Vasquez both flew out. Sang his first home run of his Cougar career. He was 0 for 3 on Thursday against Bakersfield. Had a hit in 3 at-bats on Tuesday with a double, so starting to find a little bit of his power here. That ball misses away. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. This one lined towards third, and a diving play by Spain Howard to take away a base hit here on a line drive from Sang. That will end the 6th inning. COC goes quietly as Mora continues through 6, goes 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 7th inning with College of the Canyons still leading 5-2 here from Mike Gillespie Field on Mike Gillespie Field Dedication Day here from College of the Canyons.
Hi, this is Steve Smith. I played for Mike in 1974, just got out of the service. I just want to congratulate the Gillespie family for the field dedication, well deserved. I have to tell you, he's one of my most influential guys that I've ever had. He was my mentor. He changed my life. If I was going to be a fireman, he told me I can play a little bit. Ended up going to Pepperdine, changed my life completely because I made a career out of baseball. And again, if he can change Len Mooney's life, Robert Corrales' life, Marty Slimak's life around in my life, that's 4 guys that were, who knows where they were going. What a man he was. We loved him.
How you doing? My name is Jeff Weatherby. I played at College of the Canyons in 1983 and 84. Seems like a lifetime ago. I can't be more excited that Coach Gillespie is going to have his name donned on the field there in Valencia, California. It's his name should be there. I will tell you this. If you see little dirt marks in right field, center field, and left field, that's not because that's where the outfielders play every single day. That's where Coach Gillespie put the outfielders during the infield drills. First and thirds, bunt plays, bunt defenses, this and that. The outfielders had to stand there and do nothing. And then he would say, oh, you know, come on in, put a helmet on and run the bases. and then take the helmet off, go back to the outfield, and stand there. That's why there's marks in the outfield, okay? I'm just letting you know, that's the way it was. That's the reason that they're there. It's a mark of a great freaking coach. I can tell you this. I would have never, ever played in the major leagues for a short time that I did without Coach Gillespie. I didn't have the talent, but I knew what the heck I was doing level by level by level in the minor leagues, and got fortunate enough to play it a short time in the big leagues. But I leave it all to Coach, and thank God for him. Coach Mones, Chris Cota, Coach Klein, Mitch, Kelly, the whole family. I'm super freaking pumped that Coach Gillespie's name is going to be put on that field in Valencia. I can't wait to get back and see it. All right.
So one away here in the 7th inning as we come back in on this Mike Gillespie Field Dedication Day, honoring the legendary COC head coach. We thank you for joining us for it. We've had a lot of stories, a lot of fun. We got a couple more innings to go in this ball game. A 5-2 COC lead as the clouds have started to move in a little bit here overhead. Darren Davis continues in there. That one in for a called strike, makes it 2-1. As Luke Shaw grounded out to second base, as Gonzalez has played a nice game at second base today. Gabriel Gonzalez coming in, taking over for Charlie Roca after Roca was fighting off something. Did not play the previous 5 games before Thursday and has come in back-to-back games and done a good job out at second base. Saw a couple of nice plays from him. As Davis in there continuing on against Morales, who's 0 for 2 today. Morales, no hits and 6 at-bats in the 2 games against COC. As Davis set up near the chest, will deliver. And it's a walk here to Morales with 1 away. So a runner on here for Bakersfield in the 7th inning. Miguel Salcedo coming in. Salcedo, the shortstop, 0 for 1, struck out and walked. Davis, quick move over to first, but not in time to get Shaw over at first base, diving back safely. Shaw has not tried to steal a base yet this year. Scratch that, sorry, Morales has not tried to steal a base yet this year. I think I said Shaw, and I meant Morales, and actually Morales 0 for 1 on the bases now that we scrub down to the correct place. Good pitch from Davis on the outer half for a called strike, makes it 1-1. So we in on 2-1 here. That pitch misses down. Vasquez has done a good job behind the plate today. As the Cougars kind of piecemealing a lineup together right now with the injuries starting to stack up. Roca and Yeaman both out of the lineup. We might not see Colin Yeaman for a while. Word around the dugout is back-to-back walks issued by Davis, as Salcedo has his second walk of the ball game. And we go back to Luis Fuentes, who's 0 for 2. And with a sacrifice bunt back in the 5th inning. He flew out to right, flew out to, or grounded out to short. So up all down in the dirt. Now Ryan Paramo going to come out. Ryan Paramo going to sprint out to talk to Darren Davis here. So Harish Balacondron back up in the bullpen getting loose for COC. I don't think I've ever seen Ryan sprint out to the mound to talk to a pitcher, but that time he did. There was some hustle under him that time trying to settle down Darren here, as Davis has walked back-to-back batters. This ball hit on the ground on the right side. That's going to get through for a base hit. Hawk is charging. Going to try and throw to the plate, but it's going to be cut off by Schwartz. And then sliding in to score is Morales. So it's an RBI single from Fuentes to score Morales and get Bakersfield back within a pair here at 5-3. Now put runners on the corners here for the Renegades. And that's going to end the day for Darren Davis, as it'll bring Harish Balacondron up to pitch. As we continue on here in this 7th inning, Canyons clinging to a 5-3 lead.
How you doing? To the Mike Gillespie family, Aaron Boone here. I'm so excited to hear about the field being renamed at College of the Canyons in honor of Skip, in honor of Mike Gillespie, who had such a amazing impact, I know, not only on my life, but so many of those that he came in contact with, so many of those that he coached, and he will forever live in my heart as someone that I admire and look up to, and helped shape not only me as a baseball player, but also as a man. And this is such a great way to honor his legacy, and knowing that his legacy will last forever is such a great tribute to Skip, but the entire Gillespie family. I hope this is such a special day for you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and much deserved for the great Mike Gillespie. Thank you.
So Harish Balacondron coming in to take over here for COC. Balacondron, 14th appearance of the year, 13.94 ERA in 10 1/3. He's given up 20 hits, 17 runs, 16 of them earned, 2 walks and 6 strikeouts. Harish has pitched a lot this year for COC and has at times been extremely effective for the Cougars. So that's why he gets the nod here. Has had a couple of struggles over his last few, but getting the opportunity now. As he faces Trevor Spain-Howard, who tripled and scored off an error back in the 4th inning. Hits with runners on the corners and one away. No balls and 2 strikes here to Spain Howard as Balacondron trying to get the Cougars out of some trouble with a 2-run lead right now. First appearance for Balacondron in the last couple of games. Pitched in the Citrus Series, but has not pitched yet against Bakersfield. This one hit on the ground. Diving stop from Gonzalez to take away a base hit from Spain Howard, but it's an RBI ground ball, makes it a 1-run game. Gonzalez has been very active at second base today. Takes away another base hit and holds Bakersfield to a run in that instance as Salcedo moves up to second. Isaac Torres, who doesn't have a hit, shows bunt on the first pitch and drags it back to take it for a ball. Torres still working on that 5-game hitting streak, trying to find one here as a base hit would tie the game at 5. As the Cougars have led the whole way, had 3 in the first. Maybe a little Mike Gillespie energy in the first from COC. Got 2 from Hunter Aseng on a 2-run home run back in the 4th inning after Bakersfield got 2 back in the 4th inning. And now Bakersfield with 2 here in the 7th to make it a 1-run ball game once again. I'm not sure. Torres trying to bunt for a hit here. With 2 away. There's a couple of attempted shows that time. Sees that the first baseman Schwartz is deep. I think that's why he's trying to go that way. Swings and misses on that pitch and makes it 2-2. Torres not a guy that necessarily I think you want to bunt if you're Bakersfield, as he's been driving in runs galore this year. But I think he's just trying to keep anything going here for the Renegades right now with 2 outs. As that pitch misses away. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count here to Torres. The runner in Salcedo will not get a head start here, as there's nobody forcing him to move. Torres down on strikes. Good pitch from Balacondron, so we get some help from the defense. As a solid diving stop from Gonzalez takes away the Spain Howard hit. And we go to the home half of the 7th inning in a 1-run ball game. Bottom half of the 7th we go after Bakersfield gets 2 in their half of the 7th. The Cougars with the top of the order, Jaquez, Schwartz, and Allman, the scheduled hitters. Jaquez a line shot, and Spainhoward makes the play for the first down. Balls have been hit hard a lot today, and there's been some great defense so far here in this ball game. Spainhoward, back-to-back times, he's taken away a hit from one of the Cougars. As that ended the 6th inning, took away a hit from Asang. This time takes away a base hit from Jaquez, who's now 0 for 4 in the ball game. One away here for Schwartz. Singled and scored back in the 1st, is 1 for 3. It's a tight ball game here in the 7th. And Schwartz, a little lazy looping fly ball that's going to be caught by Shaw. Went back on it initially, but then came in to make the catch. 2 away. Morris still in there for Bakersfield. Having a deep outing here today. Mora had a win in 5 1/3 against West LA on the 9th in game 1 of the doubleheader. As this one from Allman hit towards 3rd, it kicks off of Spainhoward, so it's an error on Spainhoward. And the Cougars get a base runner here with 2 away. Second error of the ball game on Bakersfield. Steinhurst, a line drive out into right field. That'll get back to the wall. Allman gonna round. He's gonna try and score from first. The relay throw not gonna be there. Allman scores on a 2-out double from Steinhurst, and the Cougars retake a 2-run lead. So a big hit from Steinhurst, who was 0 for 2, coming in to that at bat here in the ball game today, but swings and takes the first pitch from Mora all the way to the wall past Torres to bring home Allman from first base. And now Alex Friend comes in. He took over for Hudson Story in the 5th inning after Story got injured on that ball that was hit out towards right center field. Him and Ryan Orsini crashing into one another. Friend had a bunt single in the 5th. Cougars 5 runs on 7 hits in the ball game. Scratch that 6 runs on 7 hits in the ball game. This one lined right at the second baseman. Morales is there to make the play. Sorry, 6 runs on 8 hits for COC. Through 7 complete. We go to the 8th, the 6-4 College of the Canyons lead.
Can I get it Mike's way? What's happening?
And your free sub. Enjoy.
That was super weird.
Oh, that? Nah. She just used the Shore points you can now earn from chip and drink purchases to get free sub through the app.
Download the Jersey Mike's app and earn rewards towards free subs with every sub, Pepsi, and Lay's you purchase.
Pitching change for COC as we go here into the 8th. Luke Lemon coming in to take over. Luke has not pitched in the last 3 games. Was used heavily during the Citrus Series and in the games for COC against Cypress College. So got a couple of days off, but comes into pitch here today after Balacondron went 2/3 of an inning. Lemon pitched an inning, gave up a run against Citrus and struck out one on the 7th. Pitched an inning against Citrus on the 5th as well, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. Both of them earned. So far this season for Luke, it's been one of the more effective Cougars out of the bullpen. Has the lowest ERA of anybody with over 5 appearances this year, a 2.84 ERA. This will be his 10th appearance of the year. He's 1-0 in 12 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of them earned with 5 walks and 12 strikeouts as he'll face Hernandez, Rivera, and Ulyat here in the 8th inning with COC with a 2-run lead at 6-4. Speed pitch to start from Lemon in for a called strike. Hernandez 1 for 3 today. Singled, flew out and struck out. Swings and misses through that one. It's 0-2. Lemon checks pitch comm on his wrists. Gets ready for the 0-2. Set at the belt, delivers, and misses up on a little bit of an overthrow on a fastball, trying to change the level here against Hernandez. Hernandez 1 for 3 on Thursday. Didn't play on Tuesday against COC. Lifts this one in the air down the right field line. Going to be a tough play for Jaquez getting towards the line, but he'll make the catch on the run. 1 away. Played Rivera extended his hit streak to 2. Went 2 for 3 on Thursday. Was 1 for 3 today. Had a hit in the 6th. And then was caught stealing. Takes a pitch away, just missed away from Lemon. College Canyons 10-10 on the year, trying to get their 11th win and their 4th conference win of the season here and make it a good Mike Gillespie Field dedication day. Leading 6-4. 6 runs on 8 hits for COC. 4 runs on 5 hits for Bakersfield. Renegades with 2 errors, the Cougars with 1. So Lemon behind, 2 balls and no strikes here. As this one fouled off into the screen, makes it 2-1. For the Renegades this year, the offense has kind of been down. They do have 45 doubles, which is 19th most in the state, but just 3 home runs this season. You look at the average at 261, swung on and missed on a 2-2 pitch. Strikeout numbers this year as well, 164, which is actually pretty good. They've been a tough team to strike out. It's just a matter of not being able to produce back-to-back-to-back hits, enough strings of hits. Won the other day 3-2 over COC. Called strike 3 as Lemon sets down Rivera looking for his first strikeout. 2 away. Here comes Ulyat now. Ulyat 1 for 3. Couple of ground outs to second base. And a single back in the 4th. Gabriel Gonzalez has been red hot at second base today. We talked about him a little bit, coming in, taking over for Charlie Roca this week, and has done a phenomenal job in the field. He's taken away a couple of hits from the Renegades a few times on some diving stops, sliding and then throwing from his knees. So that one to Uliat misses down. Uliat did not play the last 3 games, so this is his first chance against COC and the last chance against the Cougars here in the regular season. This is just a 3-game series. This one hit on the ground. Diving stop from Allman. Going to be a tough throw, though. And Schwartz does all he can to just block it. It's an infield single for Uliat, as it was a really tough play in the hole, ranging to his right from Allman. Not much that either he or Sherrill could do. So it's an infield hit with 2 away for Uliat, his second of the ball game. And now Luke Shaw, who was hit by a pitch and grounded out twice to second base, comes in. Shaw 0 for 4 with an RBI and a strikeout on Thursday. Does not have a hit against COC in the series here as he fouls this one off to the left for Shaw. No hits in 9 at bats. Trying to get a 2-out rally going here for Bakersfield after the infield hit from Uliat. Pops this one up foul, out of play. So no balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the 8th inning. COC with a 6-4 advantage over Bakersfield. This one chopped up the middle. Allman gonna slide, fires to first. Not in time as it pulled Schwartz off the bag. So Shaw gonna reach. It's an errant throw on Allman. And 2 on now for Bakersfield. Allman with a good play behind the bag, sliding. When he got up to make the throw, just pulled Schwartz off the bag a little bit. Enough to allow Shaw to reach. And now Morales, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored in the 7th inning, comes in. Trying to keep this little 2-out rally going for Bakersfield. So Lemond has gotten a pop out to right, a strikeout, and a couple of ground balls. Just has not been helped out by the defense. One of them just placed in the right spot. That one, a tough play for Allman, but still a makeable play for the shortstop. Instead results in an error. So now Lemon has to battle out of some issues here. With 2 on and 2 outs and a 1-1 count. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Makes it 1-2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes here to Morales. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Good pitch from Lemon. Shakes his head as he walks off, but does his job, finishes out the 8th inning. We go to the home half of the 8th, a 6-4 COC lead here from Mike Gillespie Field on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in Santa Clarita.
Whether we're on the move or stuck in one place, it's with us, comforting, healing, and transforming lives. It's the power of you. With 4 world-class hospitals and over 170 clinics across Southern California, together, we're building a healthier community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your family. It begins with you. UCLA Health.
First pitch here in the 8th inning to Gabriel Gonzalez is lined out into left field. Gonzalez has his first hit of the ball game, rewarded for all that tough work he did at second base on the defensive side. Has a line drive single, and the Cougars with a base runner here in the 8th inning. As now Andrew Sherrill comes to the plate, 1 for 3. Morris still in there working for Bakersfield. He's gone the whole way so far. Cougars have touched him up for 9 hits. Gonzalez diving back safely, and a good quick move from Mora again. And 6 runs, but credit him, he's kept the Renegades close enough. At times when the Cougars have been threatening, just has been able to find his way out of trouble. That went in for a called strike to Sherrill. Sherrill 0 for 4 on Tuesday. Didn't play on Thursday against Bakersfield. And again, another good quick move from Mora, but diving back is Gonzalez. For Gonzalez, it's his first hit of the season. Now he's in motion here. Throw down to second base. Got to be perfect, right in time. Good throw from Ulyat to cut down Gonzalez for the first out here in the 8th inning. I think a missed sign that time, as Sherrill didn't even protect Gonzalez. And immediately Chris Cota kind of threw his hands up like, did we not see the sign correctly? Did we not do our job here? And so it's an out here after the leadoff single from Gonzalez. And Sherrill hits now with 2 strikes. Sherrill lifts this one on the infield, playable. All 4 of the infielders coming around to it, and it's going to be Rivera to make the catch, 2 away. So 2 down for Vasquez here, who singled, grounded out, or flew out and struck out. Sorry, looking at the wrong line. Takes a called strike. Vasquez singled back in the 2nd. He's done a good job behind the plate as well, taking over for Cervantes, who's been missing for the last couple of games. Again, Canyon's just kind of racking up the injuries when you look. No Roca. No Yeaman. Now Story hurt. Probably going to be without Orsini for the rest of the year. Cervantes, who was the everyday catcher, hasn't been in the lineup for the last few games. It's kind of just been bodies falling away. So you're asking others to pick up the slack, and so far today they've done that with 6 runs on the board as this one fouled back. So 2-strike count here to Vasquez. As it's a foul ball, they say went off the handle of Vasquez's bat. Maybe it hit him in the elbow pad, but they say he didn't move. And it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. You have to at least make an effort to get out of the way of the pitch. Vasquez able to get it to 3-2 here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 away here in the 8th inning. So this one hit towards third. Scooped by Spain Howard. The throw in plenty of time, and that'll end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down, even though a single from Gonzalez. He was then caught stealing. We go to the 9th here. Canyons leading 6-4 over Bakersfield. And the Cougars will go pitching change here as we go to the 9th. We'll have it for you in just a sec. So Jake Schwartz will come in and try and get his 2nd save of the season. This is only his 2nd appearance of the year. Last time he was able to pick up the save against Orange Coast College. Pitched an inning, gave up a hit, walked 1, struck out 1, but was able to get the save. His 2nd appearance of the year. He'll face Salcedo, then Fuentes, and Spain Howard. In the 9th inning with COC clinging to a 2-run lead. Schwartz last year was the closer for College of the Canyons. Would come in after playing first base and try and finish games out. He's trying to do that here today. Frankie Malagon will take over at first base. As the first pitch from Schwartz down in the dirt bounces away from Vasquez. 1 ball and no strikes. For Schwartz, he battled through that game against Orange Coast. Had the bases loaded, made a couple of plays to keep the lead intact himself. Fielded 1 on a bunt, moving runners ahead, and threw a runner out at third. Fielded another one on a little number out in front of the mound where he dove and flipped it to the plate with the bases loaded to get a run, or keep a run from scoring. So this is just his 2nd appearance of the year. Has not seen a lot of action on the mound. A guy that coming into the year expected him to pitch a lot, but the Cougars just have not had many save opportunities this year that he has been available for. You look, J.P. Kerr had a save, Tyler Biggs had a save, and Kyler Fruity had a save. And they've actually had Balacondron with 1 as well. So Schwartz trying to become the first guy with 2 saves for COC this year. But he's behind in the count here to Salcedo, who's walked twice and struck out. 3-1 fouled back to the screen. That's actually a pinch hitter for Salcedo here, as it's Josh Guetta hitting here. So Bakersfield pulling out all the stops, sending up a pinch hitter for Salcedo. As Geta fouls it away. Geta, .314 hitter this year, 11 for 35. Waits on the 3-2 from Schwartz and fouls it off. So again, another 3-2. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. Good pitch from Schwartz on a breaking ball that freezes Geta. He's down on strikes. First strikeout of the game for Schwartz. One away here in the ninth. Bakersfield down to their last 2 outs. As now we go to Luis Fuentes, who singled his last time up, is 1 for 3 today. Fuentes' first pitch swinging, grounds it right to Sherrill, who takes his time, fires to first in time for the second out. And the Cougars an out away from taking the series from Bakersfield here. Two down for Spain Howard, who's tripled and scored, hit by a pitch, grounded out twice. For the Cougars, a win gets you back to 4-2. And you've taken both series so far in the WSC-South that you've played, beating Citrus and Bakersfield. Just 1 out away from that if Schwartz can finish it off. First pitch to Spain Howard misses away. Remember, the WSC-South very tight so far here early on in the year through 6 games. As Bakersfield took 2 of 3 against West LA. Citrus 3-2. Glendale 3-2 coming into today. LA Valley 4-1. The Cougars 3-2. And Antelope Valley at 2-3 right there behind them all. So it's been a tight conference historically. And again here early on this season. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. A 2-run lead for the Cougars in the ninth. And Schwartz trying to finish off the save. As the 2-2 delivery misses away, so we'll full count here to Sherrill. Schwartz 2-2 swung on and missed. He sets down Spain Howard on strikes. The Cougars finish it off here on Mike Gillespie Day as Schwartz picks up the save. And College of the Canyons opens Mike Gillespie Field with a win, 6-4 over Bakersfield to improve to 11-10 on the year. Biggs gets the win for COC. Mora goes the full amount and picks up the loss. Unfortunately, he pitched phenomenally today for Bakersfield. And Schwartz picks up his 2nd save of the season. For COC, the game finishes at 4:27 in the afternoon. It's a 2-hour and 22-minute game. For Biggs, his record improves to 1-1 now on the year. For Mora, the loss drops him now to 2-5 on the season, unfortunately, for him as he pitched well but just couldn't come up with the win. The Cougars 6 runs on 9 hits, an error, and 5 left on base. For Bakersfield, 4 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors, and they left 5 on base as well. As we said, a 2-hour and 22-minute ball game. COC gets the win. They improve to 11-10 as we open Mike Gillespie Field in winning fashion today. COC takes it over Bakersfield 6-4. We thank you for joining us here on this very special day today for us at College of the Canyons. We hope you enjoyed some of the stories, some of the tales that got told by some of Mike Gillespie's friends and former coaches and former players, and we hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time here on the Cougar Sports Network COC a winner here today.